What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the mutant Nick Walker. Now we all knew a response was due from the mutant after Derek made those statements that Nick should thank him for doing the Pittsburgh Pro. And Nick Walker did respond without taking Derek's name. And we all know whom he's referring to here.
It's going to be something special between all of us, all the competitors. We're all hungry. Some are working, some are still talking, some are still talking nonsense that just doesn't even make sense, to be honest with you. To me, that's just a form of intimidation. You're scared, you're nervous, especially when you don't even sound convincing of your words. But yeah, it's fine.
And it's kind of weird that so many of the bodybuilding fans, they're bashing Derek Lunsford for making that statement. Both these guys are being extremely confident. And honestly, both these guys calling each other out. That is only going to do one thing. And that is adding more excitement and more engagement for this upcoming Mr. Olympia, especially the press conference, which I'm hoping is gonna be all fireworks this time. So Nick at the moment is mutating by the week. And he has all the right to be this confident. But the fact is, so does Derek. Because at the end of the day, the scores are settled on the stage, which is gonna happen at the Olympia this year. And so far, Derek has won 2 out of 2 times when Nick competed against him. And Derek has been the most successful bodybuilder of this year's open class so far. He won the Arnold, he won the Pittsburgh Pro, and the next one of course is the big one, and that is the Olympia. At this point, one thing is very guaranteed, that this is gonna be one of the most fiery Mr. Olympia press conference in a long time. As we know the mutant, he likes to speak his heart out, and he doesn't hold back. And Derek is also returning after beating the reigning Olympia champion, Samson Dauda at this past Arnold. So Nick versus Derek, that is gonna become one of the biggest rivalries, possibly starting this year, as both these guys are also very young, and both are getting better with every passing year. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys have winning for this upcoming Mr. Olympia between Derek and the mutant? Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Next up, we have an update from the conqueror William Bonac, one of the most consistent bodybuilders, especially of this year. So he did a total of 5 shows in a span of just a few months, and there was only one show, and that was his first show of the year, the Arnold, Ohio, where he wasn't satisfied with the way he looked. So he nailed this condition show after show, and even a 43 years old William Bonac, he is still good enough to fight and hold back so many of these young up-and-coming pros. So the man is legitimate top 8 Olympia competitor for this year too, and people can continue to say that his arms are melting or his waistline is getting wider. But the fact is he still brings a lot of quality, a lot of roundness, and a lot of density every single time he steps on stage. And just look at the names that he beat in his last 2 shows. Michael Crizo, Tonio Burton, Regan Grimes, and all 3 of them, they're entering their heydays at this point. And William is the one who was supposed to retire back in 2023. Now that is a great bargain that William Bonac made. Now, he might be risking his health, competing in his 40s. But the fact is he's making a lot of money while doing that. And if he continues to do so well, there is simply no reason for him to step away from pro bodybuilding scene to retire now. So Bonac started competing back in 2012. And some of you guys might not know this, that he was originally a 212 competitor, but he made such an awesome transition into the men's open class. And he certainly is one of the most accomplished men in today's men's open lineup with 2 Arnold, Ohio wins and multiple top Olympia finishes, as he has finished as high as top 2 back in 2019. So another week has gone by, and another week with no update on Behrouz and his visa status, as that issue again continues to linger on. just like it has been for the last 3 years. But that being said, Behrouz Tabani continues to get better and better with every passing week, and that post down with Andrew Jacked, that really showed how awesome of a bodybuilder he can be, and it is very realistic for him that he can be in the first Olympia call-out on his first try. And that is why so many experts out there, they firmly believe that Behrouz Tabani can be top 6. Now one can only imagine how high his ceiling can be if only he can bring up his legs, especially from the front. The fact is, if that pose down with Andrew Jacked, had that happened, with both of them showing their legs, then Andrew certainly would have been way ahead of him. But that being said, as a 2 times Dubai Pro champion, Behrouz has solidified himself as one of the best bodybuilders who came out of Middle East, and all he needs is one opportunity to stand next to these other top guys, the best of the best in the world, at the Olympia come October. Now it would have been so awesome if we also saw Martin Fitzwater at this year's Dubai Pro Show, as a huge percentage of the bodybuilding community out there, they still believe that Behrouz Tabani won't get his visa under the current circumstances, and all he can do is compete in Dubai and do all of these European shows to keep growing his name, and secondly, make a lot of money. So Dubai Pro Show was the opportunity where Behrouz Tabani could have had a shot, standing next to the 4th best bodybuilder in the world, Martin Fitzwater, who was originally planning to do that show. But that being said, Behrouz Tabani is getting big paydays, 140 grand, and that too totally tax-free. At Dubai Pro Show, he got another 10k from the owner of Behrouz Gym. So this has been the best year of his career so far, especially financially. So getting his visa for the US and stepping on the Olympia stage this year, that will be the cherry on the top. So Terrence Ruffin and Logan Franklin, 2 of the best posers in the Pro League right now, they lit up the stage during their guest posing at Lille Brada Classic, and both of them looked pretty damn good for 10 weeks out, and Logan being 5 weeks out. The masses, however, they are really looking forward to Terrence Ruffin's final package at the Olympia this year, as many believe that he's now the most classic looking man in that entire division, and he's also very complete if he peaks 100% right the way he's supposed to, and he's gonna be the one to push Mike Sommerfeld for that classic physique Olympia title. So if Terrence himself said that he doesn't see either Ramon or Urs beating Mike this year, that pretty much signifies how high Terrence rates Mike's physique. But that 6 pounds of growth potential that Terrence Ruffin still had when he won the New York Pro, and that too with perfect scores, that puts him at a huge advantage against all the top guys, including Mike, because no one else out there has this kind of room to make some more improvements and come in a lot heavier. And you better believe that he is going to utilize all of that, as the man is looking pretty damn awesome in all of his recent physique updates. So the back overall looks absolutely bonkers, and he's gonna have an edge in that aesthetics department over Mike as well. So Terrence has placed second at the Olympia for 2 years in a row, and that was back in 2020 and 2021 against Chris Bumstead. But this is going to be his best shot, as this time we do not have a dominant champion like Chris Bumstead coming back to defend his title. So none of us were really shocked about Lionel Bay dropping out of Tampa Pro, and not even sure that him dropping out was actually a bad news for him. At this point, there is just no way any bodybuilding fan out there, they would set up any kind of expectations from Lionel Bay that he's gonna finally put it all together and be a threat to win an IFBB Pro show, especially now this year when the competition is just so damn extreme. And most importantly, how can we ignore that this guy is now 44 years old? The only competition where he has got any kind of realistic chance of doing relatively good, that is the Masters Olympia. That being said, let's not take away from the fact that he is arguably the most gifted bodybuilder that we saw emerge from 2011 onwards. So a big shout out to Real Bodybuilding TV for posting this on their Instagram. So this is from back in 2012, Arnold, Ohio. Him standing between Sean Roden and Brandon Carey, the 2 guys who went on to become Mr. Olympia champion, and looking more bubbly and more round and more aesthetic than both of them. And that is a reminder that this guy had all the goods to go all the way to the top if he ever figured out how to get truly peeled, and how to peak 100% right. But unfortunately, that just never happened. So this was Lionel Bay right after winning his first pro show, and the man was very young and very fresh here, and he looked absolutely insane. So the people close to him, who trained Lionel, at one point or another in his career, they simply say that he was mentally not strong enough to stick to a diet, and that is why he almost always came in off. But that being said, what a great talent that got wasted big time in the pro bodybuilding scene. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.